Welcome back to the 7th Annual Express Logistics and Supply Chain Conclave. This session will cover various interactive forums with an emphasis on select industries such as CPG, high-tech, e-commerce and chemicals. Now, a very important function of manufacturing and supply chain management starts with procurement and sourcing. And the conclave has a special track dedicated for it. Take a look.
The session on e-commerce supply chain had an experienced set of panelists who imparted knowledge to the audience on the challenges faced by the e-commerce sector in India. The addressed issues were on the distribution and delivery strategies to differentiate the brand and enhance customer satisfaction. The discussion also revolved around making customer experience feel seamless across multiple channels.
In today's session, we covered a lot of interesting topics. We covered things like what's holding e-commerce back today in India. What are the challenges that e-commerce companies are facing in terms of logistics, in terms of supply chain, delivering to the customer, or even handling the customer experience. So a lot of interesting points were discussed around that. We also discussed things around government regulation, how that can make a huge impact in how logistics companies are servicing e-com, and how e-com companies are also now getting into logistics and supply chain to manage customer experience better.
The CPG Supply Chain Forum comprised of veterans from the industry who shared their thoughts on the three aspects of standardization, segmentation and the collaboration in the CPG supply chain. One of the panel discussions was based on the solution theme. The panelists discussed distinctive competitive strategy through supply chain segmentation and aligning the end-to-end supply chain design to better satisfy consumer and market needs.
What we could get out from the audience as well as the panel was that the segmentation typically has been led by the customer demands. Customer demands, mainly modern retail, institutional sales, e-commerce, those have been the main factors why now we have got segmentation. That is the first part. Second part is that what the cost aspects of supply chain segmentation are very much there, and people are looking at collaboration to beat those costs down. That's the second part which came across. And the third which emerged was these are kind of VUCA times, very volatile, uncertain, competitive and very ambiguous as well. In these times, even the best systems of segmentation tested quite badly, because whatever segmentation in terms of a customer service delivery model, that gets under the scanner in terms of a cost.
The Procurement Forum addressed key issues faced by the industry in the current scenario. A few of these were cost management, compliance of contracts, leveraging the power of technology, and the lack of effective management of suppliers. One of the panel discussions focused on how companies use globalized strategic sourcing to transform the procurement department.
The ELSE Conclave is not only a forum for different verticals, but also a platform for various solution providers to showcase their products and services. Well, I'm right here at the exhibition area of the event, so let's take a look at what's on offer.
Over the last 7 years, supply chain and logistics professionals have gained immense benefits from the ELSE product and service exhibition, where solution providers demonstrate the latest technologies available in the market. The exhibition is also an ideal setting for industry veterans to network.
It's great to get, the supply chain professionals on one platform. I think amazing capability, organizational capability to get all supply chain professionals on one platform. You learn so much from each other, and I think that's the power.
Dilex Cargo India, one of the leading logistics and supply chain management company, showcased their innovative solutions at the exhibition.
Logistics infrastructure in India is a challenge at the moment, because we are an evolving country and continuously various infrastructures are being built, etc. So the 3PL company, apart from having its own resources and trying to offer services to the customer, should also have a large, an approach which is solution based. They should have a solution-based approach, understand the issues that they are going to face in a particular route and a particular operation process, etc., and then have localized solutions built so that the overall service delivery to a customer, which is done for an all-India basis, is executed more effectively.
Gati Kintestu Express, another reputed name in the express distribution, supply chain and logistics space, also exhibited its valued services at the exhibition.
Talent management is actually our #1 challenge at the moment. We do find it very difficult to attract and retain talent in the industry. This applies not just to us as a company, but across the industry. It is difficult to find and retain people who like working in this industry, because this industry has a particular need of being 24/7, irrespective of what levels you are at, which makes it quite demanding on people. What we are doing to combat that is recruiting at the trainee level a lot of people who then stay with the organization over the long term. At the mid and senior levels, we have invested in a lot of skills building and competence building programs, which makes them, on the flip side, very attractive to our competitors, but at the same time we are satisfied that they're learning some skills with regards to problem solving or operations research, or things that will actually help them solve problems in the 21st century using today's technology as opposed to what they used maybe 10 or 20 years ago.
Aramex International, a global transportation and logistics company, showcased the variety of express logistics solutions they had on offer.
At Aramex, innovation is part of our culture. We encourage our front lines to understand what are the requirements of our customers, our partners, and then try and work out solutions which will help them improve the customer experience. So as a company, we look at partnering with our customers rather than being a vendor to them providing a standardized service.
Freight systems, a lot of companies' processes.
Yeah, look, we could spend all day talking about how to improve supply chain, but I've found over the years there are probably 3 things that people tend to get wrong in most businesses. The first of those is having a supply chain strategy, a strategy that's absolutely focused on the outcomes that you need from the supply chain, from a customer perspective and a stakeholder perspective. And surprisingly, only about 48% of supply chain or companies have a supply chain strategy, so that's a worry. But the second thing I spoke about was understanding what impacts the supply chain, not trying to fix everything, but trying to find those things that have the greatest impact on customer service and cost, and focusing on those and getting those right. And then the third one was measuring the supply chain performance. And we've seen people that have phone books of KPIs. I always tell people, focus on what you're trying to achieve in your supply chain and just have a few KPIs that will help you deliver those outcomes.
Keeping up with this insightful presentation, the next keynote speech was presented by Andrew Downard of the AD Supply Chain Group. In his presentation, he talked about delivering better service, reduced costs, and increased innovation through vested business model of outsourcing. Andrew also discussed with the audiences the 10 ailments that can afflict traditional outsourcing deals.
We have 5 rules that we follow for implementing a vested deal. Rule number 1 is outsource for outcomes, not transactions. Rule number 2 is outsource the what, not the how. Rule number 3 is make sure that you have measures in place. Rule number 4 is make sure your pricing model incentivizes good performance and behaviour. And rule number 5 is to make sure that your overview and governance structures give you insight to what's going on, not just oversight.
The keynote speeches were followed by many interesting focus sessions on supply chain. One of the sessions was on the importance of successful leadership. The theme of this panel discussion was the new thing, the next steps of leadership. Industry leaders shared their insights on successful leadership strategies for the future. Devdeep Purkayastha of CHEP India was a part of the panel, and he stressed on how the service providers can work together to better the supply chain.
The purpose of CHEP is to build better supply chains together with our customers. And we do this in 4 different ways. The first is we introduce standards of packaging across the supply chain so goods flow seamlessly, less damages, and faster. Second, we drive collaboration across the supply chain. So we encourage the suppliers to collaborate with the manufacturers and their customers. Third, we help modernize the supply chain because we work with the customers to introduce new ways of operating their supply chains. And the last and the most important for the nation's purpose is we build green into the supply chain.
Binod Shah Sarkari from Mahindra Logistics addressed the panel on the importance of collaboration through innovation to achieve improved customer service.
We basically believe that to achieve our audacious goal that we have set for ourselves, we will get into inorganic space in this coming year. We've identified two areas. One is the international logistics, and secondly, the domestic contract logistics. And we believe that once we integrate both these along with MLL, this will be the springboard for us to get our audacious goal.
R.S. Subramaniam from DHL Express spoke extensively on how the industry is being forced to advance its technologies to serve the customers in a better way.
Over the years now, it's very, very important that when you're going to run a business, you better have your fulfillment plan. How are you going to meet demand with your production in place? Because it's integral to not just your cost, but the efficiency with which your business will run, the quality which your customers will receive, and therefore how your business will perform in the market.
The cloud, we believe, will enable the Indian enterprise to invest perhaps 1 to 1.5% of revenue and achieve the same level of efficiency and optimizing revenue and curbing expenses than compared to the 2 to 3% that we see that the US enterprises have invested. So the cloud will enable the Indian enterprise to leapfrog the technology gap and catch up and perhaps even get ahead of the US enterprise by spending less and getting more.
The moment you move your pivot to the customer and create a supply chain that is centered around serving the customer, they become global players. So that is something that Indian logistics companies will have to do. First, they need to stop calling themselves logistics companies, and secondly, they have to become supply chain companies and then center around customer.
These times where everyone is reeling from uncertainty, not knowing what to do next, you can't do investment because of so many factors. At these times, leadership really comes to the fore, and I would say people who are able to see the future, look at the bigger picture and the long term, while being very frugal with their own cost. Look at building a company as a build to last, not a build to sell model. Those would be the ones who would, I would say, take it to the next generation.
Well, that's a lot of information to absorb. So while we gather our thoughts, let's slip into another short break. But on the other side, lots more action from the ELSC Conclave.
Presented by Blue Dot DHL in association with Safe Express, conceived and managed by Kamikaze B2B Media.